Hi, this is Erin from BlossyB. Welcome to my channel. The plan for this video is to continue working with the fantastic Solid Solutions molds and materials unboxed in the previous video. In part 1, I made some vibrant sea life coasters, a gorgeous little mushroom and a stunning dragon. Links for all of these molds and materials are in the description box. In this video, I'm going to share some helpful tips on using temporary tattoos with EcoCast pieces and how to save UV DTF stickers that don't separate from their carrier sheet. I'm also going to make a beautiful tray and finish off lots of extras from part 1. I'm really excited to see how this mould turns out. It's a tray mould, but it's quite a large circle. And I've done the maths and worked out that I need 450 grams of SolidCrete, which is the Eco Casting powder. It's a gypsum mineral based powder and it is a really bright white and it's a 3:1 ratio. So whilst I'm putting in 450 grams of powder into this, it only requires 150 grams of water. And the brilliant thing about this is that it can be tap water, so you're not sort of paying for shipping liquids like some eco-casting products are a 2-part system. So we've got that, and then I'll just tear that back to 0 and add in our water. So we need 150. I'll just let that sink down a little bit. There we go. Okay, pop the scales to the side and bring this to more of the middle. And I'm just going to gently give that a stir. You've got probably 4 or 5 minutes to work with this, so it's a very quick product, not as fast as, for example, the polyurethane resins, and it does cure in around about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on the temperature. And just going to pour that straight into here. Perfect measurement. Okay, just need to wait now about 45 minutes and we'll be able to demold and have a look at what we've got. I'm just going to give it a little gentle tap around the edges and sort of jiggle the trays on a little bit. And hopefully that will get everything into all the little nooks and crannies. done. Okay, let's have a little look and see how this turned out. Should be very easy to demold. Oh, I really love this mould. That's gorgeous. So it's nearly, I'd say, a centimetre deep. So smooth. Beautiful. Loving that. So I'm going to pop this onto some paper towel and set it aside to reach its full strength over the next 2 or 3 days. Next, I'm going to use that polyurethane resin that I've purchased, and this is a 2-part system. It's a 1-to-1 ratio, so when you purchase it you'll get 2 bottles of exactly the same size. This Solid Solutions brand, part B is a honey colour and part A is more clear. So I'm going to measure out exactly the same. It's 1-to-1 by volume. And then I'm going to colour one of the parts with white pigment paste. This is the Solid Solutions Titanium White. I absolutely love this range of pigment pastes because they come in fairly small containers and they are really economical to purchase, and it just means that you don't have them, you know, drying out or caking up over a long period of time. I normally just drizzle in some of the paste and then wipe off the stick that I use that for, because I don't want to use the same stick mixing that I did to get out the paste. Sometimes I just find that that gives you some clumps and you get some unmixed pigment paste in there. I always add my colorants to just one of the parts of the polyurethane resin system. I find that it is much safer to do that from a time perspective, because once part A and part B come together, you have around about 60 seconds in total before the mixture starts really heating up and starting to cure. We're talking about a product that has a 15 to 20 minute total curing time, so you cannot waste time. So I've now blended in the pigment paste to part B, added in part A, stirring briskly, and then I'm just going to pour it into each of the moulds. You really do need to be prepared and work quite quickly and cleanly with this material. While that's curing, I wanted to show you some of my recent walks and what I've spotted. This gorgeous little patermelon. This is a track that I walk regularly, and that's native to Tasmania. And also native to Tasmania is this amazing black swan who's actually nested here. The polyurethane resin pieces are now being demolded, and it's just such a lovely material. It feels a lighter weight in many ways to resin, but it's a very soft and silky feeling as well. So I decided to create some fridge magnets using these gorgeous little Highland cow UV DTF decals, and so all I'm doing is removing the carrier sheet, which is the back part, placing the label down, burnishing it onto the surface, and then peeling the top laminated sheet away from it. And if there's any excess hanging over, you can just really easily trim that off with a sharp blade. Now I have sped this up, but I hope you can see the issue I started to have with some of these decors. When I went to peel away the back protective layer, the carrier sheet, the decor stayed on and didn't come off with the laminated sheet. And that makes them impossible to transfer. So I had to have a little bit of a think. I went through, you can see how many I tried. I was getting very frustrated. And in the end, I came up with a solution using a vinyl technique, which is putting tape over it. So masking tape or any transfer tape. So what I did was I took the image that would not move onto the clear laminating sheet for adhering, and I just had some masking tape there, put enough strips to cover it all. It picked up beautifully and transferred beautifully. So if that ever happens to you, I hope this tip can help you, because it's quite frustrating. What happens is that sometimes these UV DTF decals, depending on the manufacturer, they might not go through the final stage, which is laminating, with enough pressure or heat if it's used, and sometimes they just aren't perfect. I think we're so used to having just beautiful UV DTF stickers that when something goes wrong with them, we're like, oh, but yeah. So able to solve that one and ended up with some super cute fridge magnets. But I just thought I'd share with you that if this does happen to you, you can transfer them just using either masking tape or any transfer tape or any material like contact, clear adhesive. Just make sure that you stick it onto your trousers a few times, or your jeans, whatever you're wearing, to make it a little bit less sticky. You don't want it super adhesive. All right, so I'm just going to go through and trim the edges of all of those off and set these aside. I'll be finishing these off later in the video. In the first video where I unboxed all of these, I made that gorgeous bright orangey red dragon you can see down the bottom left, and when I was making that I ended up with some leftover resin, and I was very excited to use the cat moulds that I'd purchased from Solid Solutions. I have had others previously, but it was wonderful to get more. So I had this mixture which was sort of a reddy goldy brown, and I thought, oh, that'll make some really cute pussycats. So I blended a few bits and pieces together, and this is what we ended up with. And then after I'd filled the little mushroom up, I had another little blend left over, and I got the second cat mould that I'd purchased and filled those. I also had enough resin left over that I could mix up a batch of white to use for some potential fridge magnets. I'd also used the cute little teddy bear mould, which you'll see in a moment. And then after all of the pieces cured, this is what the little extras looked like. And I did say in that video that I wasn't going to finish these pieces off then, but I am going to show you what I end up doing with them now. So they came out really pretty. Here are all the extras that I poured in the first video. So we've got the pussycat moulds. So I have done these with some cute little nail art decors, and this one with different hearts. And the teddies, so I just gone through, popped some eyes on them, drawn a nose and a mouth, add a little decor, given them some paw and ear details. And I'll probably just put those on little keychain lanyards and give those away if any kids want them for their bags or anything. Now, these were the resin discs, and I've put a decal on top of these, and I've trimmed around the edge, and so for this reason I'm going to try and do a waterfall coat, so that will go over the edges and seal everything in nicely. And I've used my little leveling tool, and I've checked that they're level both ways, and we'll just do the best we can. I'm using Solid Solutions 4-hour fast cure resin because it's very thick, and I'm thinking that's what I'm going to need. Having said that, I've never done this before, so a little bit nervous. So I'll just do a bit in the middle to start off with, and just see how far that travels over. I've put some blue tack underneath each of these to give them a good grip, and to also elevate them off of the G3 curing machine mat, so that when the additional resin drips down over the edges, it's not going to come into contact with the base. And the base of each of these I've actually covered in PVA glue, and that's been on there for about a day, and the idea is that if I do get drips, then they will not stick to the underside, or if they do, I can just peel it off with the PVA glue layer. Oh gosh, this is hard to know how much to put on. Okay. Now, do I just let them sit for a minute, or maybe hit them with the hairdryer from a distance? I might try that. Alright, well that definitely helped the resin move over the edges. Okay, and any leftover resin that comes down into the tray, I'm not at all worried about, because I'm going to be able to reuse that. And when it's cured, I'll pick it up, put it in a little container, and that can go into my next resin project. So this doesn't waste anything. I'll just sit on them, not actually, not literally. I'll just stay with them for a few minutes and make sure that they are all going well, but I think that looks good. I've also got my little handheld lighter here, so if I see a bubble, I can very quickly just go on. Actually, I'll probably go around and do all of them. These have all now cured, and it's time to see whether this technique worked or not. So there's a tiny bit of resin on that, otherwise that can be reused. And grab my blade. Oops. And that glue layer should come off. And it's not. To show you a quick little tip, if, like me, you ever leave your PVA glue on too long on the back of items that you're giving a waterfall coat to, you can sit them in a shallow dish with some warm water. You don't want the warm water to come up over the top, you just want it to be touching where the PVA glue was. And then I'll pick one up and I'll show you. And once you've done this, any leftover PVA glue will just come off like that. Super easy. And I'm just using my nail, but of course you can use, I'll grab a piece of paper towel and show you. And just literally wipes off it, just sort of rehydrates the glue, and it doesn't interfere with anything else, the resin or anything, because you're just literally doing it onto that layer. And if you've got any little stubborn bits like around the edge here, you can just pop that back in and let it soak for another minute or two, and then you'll be fine. So again, just literally wipes off. Like that. Nice and easy. Okay, the plate is all beautifully cured and just so silky smooth. It's wonderful. I'm going to use a temporary tattoo to decorate the center, and I thought that would look really pretty running across the middle. And then I also found this little set, which I have two of, which I thought really matched this, and I could use these to either do something on the edges or around the edge as well. So I'm going to do that magic thing where you click your fingers, and there we have it. It's already cut out. So I've got a dish of water here, and I've got a microfiber cloth, and I've bent the side just a little bit where I think it will go up the edge, which I'm perfectly fine with. And so now I'm just going to take it off and take the backing off. And then I'm going to adhere this to the surface. Just like that. And just like that. So I'm going to take some water onto the cloth and press it down, and I'm aiming to get the entire surface quite damp. These temporary tattoos, I'm pretty sure would have all come from Temu, although I have had I have had them for a while actually. Now that's got a little crease in it, which I'm not loving. So I'm going to just gently push that out. And I'm just going to let this sit for a few moments. And while that's doing that, I'll take one of these out and we can have a think about where they would suit best. And I like trimming my temporary tattoos before I use them because I like to have a really good feel for where they're going to go. If you don't trim them, you sort of end up with straight edges that can be a bit off-putting when you get to there. So we've got quite a few little designs which could look very sweet around the edge. So this one interests me because it's curved up slightly. I think that could look quite pretty. And I'll just check this now. Here we go. You just sort of notice it start to wiggle at one point. Oh my goodness, that is so pretty. I love that so much. Wow. That is gorgeous. Okay, so around the edges, what I was thinking is we can either do, or we can do both. We can do a couple of little ones sort of on here to fill the side in. And we can put a couple of little ones around the edge. So I'll cut these out and speed through it. So we've got quite a few little pieces here. So what I'm going to do is just turn the dish onto its side here and check which pieces fit. It definitely fits. I'd say all these are going to. Yep. And then I just need to double check this one. So that one doesn't. So this one and its matching pair will go in here. And possibly, let's have a little look. So if we're going to do a pattern, I'll just do it around the outside to start off with. So we'll have, need to go half, half. So we'll go that one. And then a pink one. And then another purple one. And another pink one. And then that means I have those 3 pieces left over, so we could probably balance that out with the pink. Or we could go like that. Yeah, I think that's really pretty. So we've got 4 here, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and the 3 in the middle. So I'll go ahead and cut these out and be right back. Okay, well, I'll shorten this little stalk a bit, and we'll pop the middle one down first because that's going to be there no matter what. That looks pretty. I'm just wondering whether I should put some leaves down the bottom. Just have a quick look. I found these. I'm just going to cut out one of these little ones and just see. So we're going to have curve bottom. Yeah, that's pretty. Beautiful. Now, for the outside ones. It was annoying. My camera decided it was too full and stopped filming. So I've just had to transfer some files. Hopefully, these are now not too dry. I was happily putting these all on. Oh, this one's, oh, hang on, is it? It's ready to come off. I've never had let a tattoo dry before. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. Oh, okay. Beautiful. That little bit there I can just easily trim off. Lovely. Yes, I definitely wouldn't recommend leaving them on. Although they did re-wet, okay. All right, so there's our dish. I just need to let it dry. Once the dish is fully dry, I'm placing it on a couple of little paper cups in a box that I've made up as a spray station, and I'm using the Rust-Oleum 2x Satin Ultra Clear Coat, and I'm going to give it just a super fast gentle spray to start off with, and this is just to seal in the temporary tattoo. Once that's dry, I repeat the process just on the edges of the plate and repeat. So the tray is now fully sealed, and I did do a little scratch test on one of the parts of the temporary tattoo, and it did slightly lift up. And because I'm hoping that this is going to be used as a trinket dish or a sort of a catch-all little tray, I really want it to be very hard wearing, and it was worrying me that if you threw keys or a necklace or something into it, it could scratch it. So for that reason, I'm going to seal the inside now with some beautiful clear deep pore resin. I specifically wanted to use a low viscosity resin for this, as I wanted a very thin coat on the dish, and I wanted it to be able to self-level and degas over time. I just wanted it to look perfect. And I've also made up enough so that I can give a nice doming top coat to the little Highland cows. Now, because this is a low viscosity resin, I've made sure when I put the decals on, they are put on to the back. So each of the pieces has a little lip around the edge, and that I'm taking advantage of that by flipping it over and using that to contain the resin. And yeah, so I'm really thrilled with this order from Solid Solutions. Very happy with it. If you would like to order anything from this yourself, or in fact any of the products that are on the Solid Solutions website, you are welcome to use my discount code. So if something's not on sale, you get an extra 10% saving, and the code is BlossyB. In a moment, I'll show you the end result for all of these pieces, and I am really excited that I've now got these great moulds in my collection. Particularly, I'm loving this dish. So happy to have the additional cats, and I love the little mushroom too. It's just gorgeous. And of course the dragon, love it. So thank you so much for sharing this time with me. I really appreciate it. So here we go with all of the pieces that I either made in this video or finished off in this video. First up, we have these little teddy bears. Not my finest work ever, but they may make someone happy. Cute mould though. Our pussycats. So these cat moulds, remember, are the ones that came with the little badge hardware as well. These lovely fridge magnets. These were made with some extras from the first video. The adorable little Highland cow fridge magnets. These are made with Solid Solutions polyurethane resin, which is just so lovely to work with. And lastly, this beautiful dish that is a mould that I purchased, and it just is so lovely to work with. It's got a beautiful deep lip, and this is the one with the temporary tattoos, and then the outside edges are sealed with varnish, and then I've put a layer of beautiful crystal clear epoxy resin over the center of the tray to make it very hard wearing and durable. Okay, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.